Hello, everybody. I know I just went live. Hold on just 1 second. Oh my gosh. Good morning. Happy February. Isn't that crazy? It's February. Like, we're already a month in. And it's amazing that, according to statistics, by now, your New Year's intentions, if you're going to fail, you already failed. Like, you already let it go. Remember in the first videos when I think it was like 93% of people by January 15th do not follow with their intentions. And so we're past that, right? We're into February. So we're either going to continue with the intentions that we had for the first of the year, or we're going to refocus on that we're going to talk about that today, or we're going to quit stressing on it and get it done, right? So today's topic is it really worth stressing over? And first of all, I want to say good morning to everybody. Yes, I still have this crud, so I apologize. I still have a cough. I still have everything. It hit me again, and I was quarantined again. And anyways, I feel 1,000 times better. So third round of antibiotics, and I know a lot of you, excuse me, has messaged me saying that you have the same thing. You might not have influenza A, but you have pneumonia, or you have this cough, or you've had this crud, and how long it's lasted. And I get it. And I understand the stress that comes with that, and trying to still balance everything, but put yourself first, and, excuse me, all of that. So again, another video of hacking, coughing, throat clearing, sneezing, the whole works. But I can tell you, as you can tell, I feel 1,000 times better. But I'm still not at my, 80%. So last week I was 65%? I'm gonna say I'm about 80%. So at least I have some spunk to me, and I want to get up, and I want to get out. And I didn't feel like I needed to do my makeup for over 50. Good morning, everybody here. Good morning, Robin and Barbara and Miss Deb and Michaela. You're here. Yes. Hello, Karen and Natalie and Tammy. Hey, you guys know that, and I made a couple mistakes. I accidentally deleted people who had paid without the planner. And so I re-invited them to come back in. And so yesterday, the last 2 days, I've gone through and removed people. Some people are saying the finances aren't there, and they'll be back. So I only know that our group's going to continue to grow. But at this point in time, this is our group. This is our Master's Mindset Mondays. This is our safe zone. This is, well, I want to say thank you guys for believing in me and sticking with me through the last month of craziness, and to know that it only gets better from here, right? Hello, Miss Tammy, and yes, here I am. Deb, I've not failed. Good. Yes, by now 93% of people have already failed on their intention for the year, and my goal, as you can tell from your planner, is to refocus you back on your intentions and get you going. And today, again, a hot topic is it worth stressing about? Because sometimes our intentions are pretty big that we want to do. And are they really what we should be focusing on, or should we not and let it happen, right? So we're going to talk about the differences of that. Yes, Michaela, no stress. No stress at all. Hello. Oh, good morning, Robin. Thank you so much. I love that you guys are saying hello to each other, because this is our group. This is, as Becky calls it, our tribe. Hi, Morgan. Yes. Deb, I know I messaged you about some other things that we're working on, but I wanted to ask you about the cruise too. I don't ever get to go on a cruise again, and I loved it. And so I'm going to message you again, because I want the details of the cruise, or if you're going to post it online somewhere, because I've been looking at the pictures, but there was so many people there that were techs, that were phenomenal techs. I wish that was a cruise that I would have went on. Hello, Miss Cindy. Hello, everybody. Yes, Karen, I agree. I hope it goes away soon. And my mommy, so you guys, Margie Williams, who is on here, is my mom. And of course, I had to put my mom in my group, right? My mom is in every single one of my groups. And I'm sure she gets tired of all the notifications that she gets. But you know what? I love my mom. So hello, mama. Hello, Miss Juliana. Are you getting the snow we got? We are at, I think we're officially at 8 inches of snow since yesterday. Crazy here again. And it's still snowing, and our projected is 10. However, the forecast changed. Tomorrow is supposed to be fine, and then another 3 days of snow. So I think we're going to finally hit winter here. Like, we have not had snow. We had a skiff on Christmas Day, and we haven't had like any snow. So I think winter finally hit our area. So hopefully it will knock out some of these influenzas that's going around. Sheridan County, where I live, influenza B, which I had influenza A. Influenza B is at the highest in the state where I live right now. And instead, in average, the national average is like 2% we're at 5.4% of influenza B in this county. And I'm like, I wonder why. I wonder why it hits those areas. Yes. Hello, Miss Brenda. Deb says you stick with us, so we stick with you. You and me, baby, we're stuck. I love that song. I love that song. And so thank you for that. We talked motivation last week. And we talked about how music can do that. And I can tell you for a while, Sugarland, Stuck, You and Me, Baby, We're Stuck Like Glue was my song for quite some time. Deb says, Hazel Dixon was so awesome. Actually, everyone was, but it was great to make friends, some from the UK. Yes, exactly. So the cruise that Becky and I taught on with Cruise with the Nail Stars, I finally got to meet Katie Barnes and Kirsty Meakin in person. They were the educators from the UK there. And I can tell you it's created lifelong friendships with both of them. I talk with Katie, oh my gosh, once a week or so, and then Kirsty every couple of months of just updating what we're into. And I can tell you those connections, even like what we have in our group, they're real. This is real. This is a family that's online. I talk a lot about, I never understood online dating until I got into groups like these and I started making these connections. And then you start talking a little bit on the side and you get to know each other a little bit more. And when you meet each other in person, the stress, but the good stress comes out. I mean, you have every emotion that's tied into it. And there's such an excitement that, I don't know, I get it. I understand all of that. And so, yeah, it's so wonderful. Hello, Amanda. And Evelyn, hello everybody. Oh my goodness. Hello, Becky. Good morning, my sweet friend. Okay, I think I'm caught up on here for now. Hi, Dawn. I'm so sorry, guys. Like, I want it out. I gotta cough it out, right? But I don't want to hack it out online. I did take cough medicine just before I went live, so hopefully it'll kick in here in a minute. Okay, let's talk business. So if you have the planner, the tribe one, faith, hope, and love, you know, it's February, right? But also with besides Valentine's Day, there's also Black History Month. There's so many significant things that happen this month that I absolutely love. But I think February is one of the funnest months. So again, in the tribe or follow your arrow, this is what it looks like. Faith, hope, and love. Your social media inspirations are the same. In the shabby chic, do all things with love. Okay, and then what do you love? What do you love? Like, you guys know that I love coffee. I've talked about that a lot, right? But one thing that has happened over the last few weeks that has been one of the greatest things that I love talking about connections is you guys have mailed me so many cards and little gifts. And I know Sheena Dowd mailed me a bracelet and a pen that said she believed she could, so she did. You guys know that's always been my life thing. I wear a bracelet every day that says she believed she could, so she did. And then Sarah Maroney She does paparazzi jewelry. She sent me a card that said the last time I went live in my genre group, I did these nails. And they were a mess. They had been like 7.5 weeks grown out. I knew I was going to have repairs. I knew it was going to be, crazy, and it was perfect time to go live. So I'm not one of those instructors that only go live on a mannequin or the most perfect nails. I like to go live with the worst nails and transform them, and whether it's a fill or a full set. And so I went live doing my own because I knew they were a mess. I could feel it, and they were way too long. And she said, Amy, everything that you talked about in that live transformed everything. It validated though how she was doing her repairs, but it also taught her so much. And she'd been licensed, I think it was like 8 years. And she said, and of course when I teach it as you're using any product line, but I show you with genre. And so she sent me a card and earrings and another bracelet that says she believed she could, so she did. And with that being said, at the bottom of her card, she said something I've never heard before. It's written down everywhere now. Is, you know how we always say fake it till you make it? It said faith it until you make it. And it's beautiful. Like, I'd never heard that before. It gave me chills when I read it. I had to reread it because I thought, what does it say? It says faith it till you make it. And it touched me. And of course I've messaged her. Andrea Hefele has sent me a card and a gift. Light Elegance, Anita Hug Jones sent me flowers. I mean, you guys are showering me with stuff that I appreciate so much. And you know that I'm not a gift person. So when I get a gift, I treasure it, but I feel like a weirdness with that too. We've talked a little bit about the 5 love languages, but it, I don't know, it's heartfelt and I love it and I treasure it and I'm going to wear these. And yes, depth, like you said, I love that. It's so perfect. Yes. And so sometimes it's the written things that can mean more than anything else. So anyways, I love that this said faith, hope, and love, because the faith that till you make it, that's something that I love. What do you guys love? What when you are in your worst moments builds you up to where you're like, you know what, I got this? And when you're in your most stressed out times in your life, what sets you that I got this? And I can tell you, for me, it's you guys. It's the tribe. It's my family. It's who I'm surrounded with that always lets me know I got this. This was another gift that I received. You guys know I love coffee mugs. So I received this. Good friends bring great joy. But my favorite thing is right there. It's on the inside of the mug. It says, hey, friend. So when I drink my coffee, I get to see that. And I'm like, those little things like that is what I love. And so I want you to write down, what truly do you love? We talked about what motivates you, but sometimes what motivates you isn't what you love. What do you love? Is it candy? Is it a certain kind? I love those little Ferrero Rocher candies. And those of you in the UK, because of Carmel, I love crunchies. Like, cannot get over them at all. Okay. So social media inspirations this month. This is a fun month because like we have Eat Ice Cream for Breakfast Day, which I shared that post in this group. And the reason why is I want you to continue. Now this is a private group now, so everything that's in here you won't be able to share anymore. So you can screenshot it and crop it in and then share it that way. But these are those fun things that if you're going to do the social media aspect of it, that you post, that you're going to get engagement. People are going to relate to that. Do you know how many comments I got on that post that were like, I'm starting to practice now, or oh my gosh, what a great thing. That's better. One of the comments was, that's better than eating your dessert first. You get to eat your dessert first of the day rather than before your dinner. We have Bubble Gum Day, which you guys, if you followed me at all, I have a theory about bubble gum. I started this when my kids were little. And when it was time that you were done with your gum, of course, we like the big Hubba Bubba gum, not the good, like, nice mint gum, cinnamon gum. Oh no, the fruit flavored big pieces, Hubba Bubba, maybe even 2 pieces in your mouth. Try to blow the biggest bubble that you can. Well, when you're done with the gum, I tell my kids to blow a bubble, put a wish in it, and then like seal it. And when we throw away our gum, we throw away our gum with a bubble. And then when that bubble pops, our wish will come true. So it's just kind of those fun things that we can do. So obviously this week is Bubblegum Day, Valentine's Day, Be Humble Day is February 22nd. And I love all of those. And so in your social medias, those are already 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's National Inspirational Heart Month, which, you know, obviously comes close to all of our hearts. So there's a few ideas of inspiration of things that you can tie in this month that are fun, that tie into only this month and those days that you should be adding to your social media posts on top of your business posts and all of that. So if you turn the page, my current focus is, okay, so this is where it's talking about with intentions. So are you still with the same intentions? Did you already achieve what you wanted to for the year? Did you already do that? Because sometimes we just get so focused on something that we're like, maybe you wanted to set up a website, okay, and you had it marked off that was your intention for the year. That could have already been achieved. You could have actually set up a website. And so if that's the case, I applaud you and I celebrate you, and I'm glad that you were able to do that. But what's your focus now? What else are you going to do? Because once we complete something and we get that confidence, it only excels us to want to do something more, right? So if you're kind of dragging your feet a little bit and you don't know how to get started on your intentions, I want you to use us in this group, because I can tell you we have some very strong entrepreneurs in this group. Very, very strong. I see Karen's on here as well. And I can tell you guys that we can help each other. I know that for a fact. I just feel it in my soul. And so if there's something that you're just struggling with, you're not able to follow through with that, and you're ready to give up on it, do not give up on it. Ask for help, because that's what I'm here for, but I also know that's what other people are here for as well. Okay, and then what are your favorite February memories? You know, like if you go back, whether it's Valentine's Day when you were a kid and you were, like for me, like forgive, I love Valentine's Day with my husband and my family and stuff like that. But for me, it's in my own childhood. It's one of my earliest memories is taking a shoebox and making those Valentine card boxes with homemade Valentines and putting a sucker of candy to it and giving it to somebody and like being giddy and stuff like that. And as an adult, every now and then I still do that kind of stuff. And so, you know, what is your favorite Valentine or February memory? Maybe like Cheryl, who's one of our admin, her birthday's in February, and so is her daughter's, and so, you know, maybe it's a birthday. But anyways, what's your favorite memory with that? And just kind of reflect on, you know, those good things like that. Okay, one more part of business, an update. So I teach keeping profits in your pockets. And of course, it's the year end for all of us. And we have till April to complete it, but you need to be working on that now. Even if you do your stuff monthly, like I was supposed to do, but I didn't do November and December because I was busy. So yesterday I pulled out the computer and I started putting in the stuff for November and December, and I thought, oh yeah, I need to get online and figure out what I've paid in fees for Square and PayPal because of the online workshops. And my clients use Square as well. And so I just want you to know, for Square, you can get on their website. You have to get on your computer to do it. You can get on their website and you can go into the tax forms and it will give you the total. And you just write that down, or you can print off that sheet. Now, PayPal is different. So the last 2 years, I've been able to call PayPal and they would just give me the number. However, this year they made changes and they can't do that. And I don't know why they don't make it available on their site. So the only option with PayPal is to go through every transaction and write down what the fee was. Do you know how many transactions I had last year? I didn't count, but I can tell you there was a lot. And I had to sit there, and I just did it by month because I was afraid that if I would have just calculated through the whole year, I was going to mess up somewhere. So I wrote on a notepad, I wrote January through December, and I wrote January, this was the fees, and at the end I totaled that up. So you have to manually go through. So on PayPal, you have to get on the computer. You go into the activity under, so that's what it's called, and then you have to do the manual count of what the fees were. And so anyways, just in case you guys didn't know that, it is, yes, Marcy, ugh, I did that, and it is awful. But here's the thing, I can tell you with PayPal, I would rather sit down and do it all at the end of the year than per month, right? To me, it's easier. I'm focused. I can do that one task covers the whole year. And then I can go in on my Excel sheet and add it in per month. But if you're not keeping up, that's what this planner is started with. But if you're not keeping up with doing everything every month, at the end of the year, the stress is unreal what you're going to go through. I mean, unreal. Your plate is already full. The weather's not cooperating. You might be sick. You have a deadline, which is why we have stress. And therefore, what happens is it's too much for us. You have to do this stuff every month. And as you well know, we're going to go through this process for the entire year. And I'm going to hopefully help motivate and keep you focused on doing your monthlies, knowing where your prices are set so that you can be profitable. I want to give you a pinky, the high five, all in promise that if you follow what I'm doing every single month, besides the motivation side, that you will be profitable. But you have to have the mindset to get out of the stress mode, stay focused on getting it done. Nobody likes doing paperwork except for accountants who get paid a lot of money to do that. We don't get paid to do our books, right? So we're not motivated to do it. But I can tell you, once you sit down and you get a system going, you don't mind doing it. And when you can see that you're profitable every month, you really don't mind doing it. So there's this mindset that comes with doing our books every single month and seeing where our figures are, that it's okay. But if you wait till the end of the year and then you realize you have to get on the computer to do the Square, you have to go through manually and do the PayPal, you have to do all the 1099s if you have to do any of those, you have to collect all the W-2s that you need to get. You need to get your homeowner's insurance undone. You need to, there's so much to it that it can be so stressful. And so once again, planning out time to do that every single month as part of your paid time, that makes it a lot less stress. Okay, we're done with the business side. So I'm going to answer any questions and then I'll get started. And is it really worth stressing about? Oh my goodness. Once again, I love that you guys are this active. And if you're watching this on replay, or if I don't get to you while I'm live right now, I promise I review these and then I can go through and answer any questions. And a reminder that if you really are talking directly to me, you need to tag my name. And so I've pretty much sent I think all of us, because I've sent friend requests because some of us didn't know each other prior. So when we are friends with each other on Facebook, we can tag each other's names. So if we're not friends, either confirm the one I sent to you or send me a friend request, and then we can tag each other's names on certain topics. Hello, Miss Gail. How are you feeling? Hello, Lexi. Gail says, I look at life through their eyes and then don't stress. Yes, yes, yes. Faith, prayer, meditation. Very nice. Aw, Karen, seeing someone smile. Isn't that so very true? You make me smile reading that. Smiles, as they say, are contagious. Natalie says her cat. That's what she loves. Oh yes, Deb, those Ferraros. I know, the white ones, the ones that are hard to find for some reason. Those hazelnut. Oh God, they're so good. My stocking is always filled with those Ferraro candies. I think that's how you say it. Dawn says you're horrible with social media. Dawn, that's why you're here. That's one of the things that we're going to cover each month is social media and all of that. So yes, yes, yes. And Robin, the same thing. Yes. So sometimes our social media needs to be fun and not always business, not always selling, not always, I need clients and I have openings and, education. It needs to be a combination of all of these things. And so, yes, absolutely. Marcy and Miss Karen. Yeah, Barbara, yours went out. I put it in the mailbox on Saturday, but our mail doesn't pick up on Saturdays. And so, Barbara, your planner went out. So more than likely it went out today. So you'll have yours really soon. Aw, Karen. Hello, Sam. Okay. Oh, Sammy V. Yes. I forgot that you had your training to do today. That's exciting. Okay, Gail says, how about accountability partners within the group? We can. And we're also, Gail just posted yesterday about mentorship with each other in Tech Talk Worldwide. So I have already said you guys are all accountable to me. So there's already one partnership. So if there's somebody in your area or somebody that you connect with online that you want to be more accountable to and not be so much in a group setting, but in a smaller group setting, I absolutely encourage that. Morgan hasn't set your intentions yet. Well, it's kind of time, isn't it? It's time to sit down and say, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is my goal. Deb says, I need help getting my Shopify website completed. So many things I don't understand. And in the technology language, I know you and I talked. Shopify is not one that I've ever set up. If you guys need help with WordPress or Wix, I can definitely help you there. However, Shopify was not one. And so I told her I could Google and YouTube some stuff for her. But any of you out there that know about Shopify, Deb needs help as she has a lot on her plate going on right now. Okay. Deb, could you share your Excel sheet, please? I can, but it's also my personal tax stuff with all my personal numbers on there. I share all of that in Keeping Profits with Your Pockets because it is so personal. It's a regular Excel sheet that you have on your computer. I have my income, my expenses, which everybody is different. And of course, in that group, I actually share some of my numbers. So that's kind of a whole other topic. And that ties into keeping profits in your pockets. But Excel is free on your computers usually. And if not, it's a free download or upload or whatever you want to call it. See, Gail's already going to help out Deb with that. Tammy says, half of why I considered retiring from nails every year is the paperwork. So overwhelming and never sure that I'm doing it right. Yes. And Tammy, it's amazing too how many people, when they finally go to an accountant and they sit with a good accountant and they sit with the accountant tells them what they can write off, what they can't, what figures they need, and really helps walk you through those steps. It makes it a lot easier. It's always overwhelming, always. But when you do it every single month, it's a little less overwhelming. And of course, it creates a lot of stress. And when you can see that you're finally profitable, that stress lightens up. It's amazing the difference of years of doing my books and seeing that I don't know how I'm living. Money's coming in. I feel like I'm profitable. I have money to spend because I have cash. But at the end of the year, I was not profitable for many, many years. And I finally found a good accountant early on in my years that I still have today that really sat down with me one day and says, do you want to be profitable? And I was like, yes. Well, this is what you got to do. You have to keep track of your mileage. You have to keep track of this. And when you know that, and it's written out for you and you put in an Excel sheet and every month you stay on top of that and you save receipts and you know what you can write off and you know what you can't. Because some things you only get like a 50% return on it and some things it's almost 100%. I mean, so getting with a good accountant will help. Once again, keeping profits in your pockets will help. And I can tell you guys, Julia, who her plate is full, so remember that. But Julia, that is in our group, used to be an accountant. And so I know that she's already offered to be able to help many of you guys as well. I'm telling you, we have a powerful group of bosses, as people say. I call them empresses of their empires in our group. Robin, I like Wix the best. I just helped Becky set up with her WordPress, and I got out of WordPress because I hated it, because WordPress, you have to download all these apps for every single thing. With Wix, they own their own apps, and so Wix was a lot easier for me. I'm not sure what the cost is versus the two. I think they're pretty close. In fact, I don't know if Becky wants to share hers. So my first year, it was like a half off thing. You have to pay for your domain, which is separate, which is like $15 a year. And then you have to pay for your website, which originally it was like $150. My website this year is going to be $380. And so, because it was an intro price. And I'm sure like they've been sending me emails because it's time to almost update that. So they send you emails with special discounts. So I'm sure I can get it less than that. I'm not sure what WordPress or Shopify, I think, does a percentage kind of thing. I'm not quite sure. So maybe Deb can help you out with that. But that just kind of gives you an idea. And I would only get a website if you're selling something, which Robin, you are. And so I think, if you're selling something, yes, get the website if you want to build up your emails and all of that. If not, continue to sell independently through Facebook, Instagram, and all of that, and you can be fine without a website. Delia, your goal for 2020 is redo your nail salon. So have you written down and taken inspiration pictures of what you want? Are you starting the steps to get to that? And thank you for being accountable to us, because we're going to check back with you. Okay. Nikki Walker's in here. You guys, Nikki, I have 3 sisters and a brother, and I invited all of them in here. So Nikki is my youngest sister. Yes, she is. Yes. So hello, sister. I love you. Miss Brenda. Okay. We're good with all of that. So let's get on to today's topic, which is it really worth stressing about? Okay. So you guys know I get technical. The actual definition of stress is a reaction to change that includes physical and emotional responses. Stress is a mindset. It's where it begins. Stress is real. It's real physically, emotionally, and mentally, but it's not really real. It's not tangible. You cannot touch it. Okay? So therefore, stress is one of those things that we can control in our mind, but we can't control, we can't actually fix it, but we can mentally change how we react to it. That's the main thing of stress. And I went crazy on my notes, so they're all over the place. But stress is anger. It brings out a feeling of demand. In fact, that's why we get stressed, is because usually we feel like our plate is already full and something else has been added to it. Like I talked about before, like here you have your Thanksgiving plate or your big feast plate, and one extra pea at the very end when you clear your plate, you just can't eat. You just can't do it. The one extra thing. That proves that something as small as a pea can weigh you down a little bit too much and create extra stress. And so we have to figure out how we're going to react to that. It's overwhelming. Stress is enabling. It can actually paralyze you, physically paralyze you, put you in that fight or flight response. Nothing in your system works. Your heart rate goes up. The anxiety happens. You get headaches. You get eye twitches. You get where you can't breathe. Your stomach does not digest during those times. Fight or flight, which sadly I've been in many times in my life, because of my health, is a direct response of something that can go into our head that may never happen. Isn't that crazy? Our body reacts so much into this fight or flight that because of our thoughts. It's unreal. It is absolutely paralyzing. But guess what? Stress is because you allow it. I hate to say that, and I know it sounds mean, but stress is because you allow it. Even the most stressful situations, like Dana Lynn is in here, and to me, I think the most stressful situation in life would be that your child has something that you cannot fix, that they have an illness, but you have to be a support system for that child. So you're going to allow it to enable you to where you can't do anything, so you can't support them? No, you're not. You're going to change that mindset. You're going to put your big girl panties on, and you're going to go in and you're going to give your all to be able to help the other person or your family member or that child. And so therefore, once again, stress is what you allow it to do to you. And in the most stressful situations like that, if you're that stressed and you're paralyzed, how are you going to help somebody else? How are you going to get them to where they're not stressed going through these situations? And to me, the perfect example is a mother and a child. Stress makes us negative, makes us act out. We respond with rage, physical rage, like not just mental yelling. Sometimes people punch. Sometimes they exert themselves so much physically that it again becomes so disabling. Are you stressing on things that you can change? Okay, so stress comes from fear, and fear comes from lack of confidence. You've never experienced it, it's changed. It's once you've experienced something and you've gone through it, the first thing that comes to my mind is infusions. So the first time I had to get an infusion, the idea of everything. One, I had to go to the cancer center to get an infusion. You guys know my story with that. The idea of the needles, the idea of all the doctors and the nurses, and then sit there for, in the beginning, it was 5 hours to get these infusions, the whole process of it. But once I did it and I understood, I had the knowledge behind what was happening, the next time I went was a little bit less stressful. And the next time I went, and then you start building more confidence. And then one day you realize that you're excited to go there because you're excited to see the nurses. You're excited to talk to the other people that are there because you're no longer stressed, but all of a sudden somebody comes in, it's their first infusion. You get to help that. And you guys know they put me in the role of that at our local cancer center. They're like, hey, Amy, we need you over here. And so the fear of the change, the fear of the unknown, the fear of the physical pain that we might get from something like that takes away that confidence. But once you've done it over and over and over again, none of that changed. The pain is still there. The process is still there. None of that has changed. What's changed is your mindset, that you're more comfortable with it and that you have a confidence. And as soon as you get to help somebody else with a small first step, boy, does that boost you. And then all of that is gone. It's a mindset that physically has put you into a stage that you feel like you cannot come out of, that it's overwhelming. But once you conquer that fear and you get into it and you face it and you fight it, it all changes, okay? If you guys did inspire your desire with me, you guys know that I came up with a theory of fear versus fear. And once again, I'll post that same thing in here. So fear, my definition of fear is a failing. It's embarrassment. Maybe you're putting yourself out there and you don't know what, maybe people will judge you on something. Maybe you feel like you failed and people got to see that. Even if nobody saw it, it's still embarrassing if nobody saw it. If we tripped and nobody saw it, we're still embarrassed, right? It's anxiety and it's a reaction, okay? But the fear versus what fear can be when you actually decide to tackle it and fight it is you get freedom. Your mind is now no longer stressed on those things. You're like, I did that. Yeah, maybe it didn't work out. These are the changes I'm going to make. Yeah, I did that and it was successful. Why was I holding myself back? Why was I self-sabotaging myself? So you get freedom. Once you do it, you get excitement. You learn that you have the ability to do it because you actually did it. You didn't let fear hold you back, and with that comes relief. Fear, just like stress, is a mindset, okay? It's how you look at it. And just like we've talked about before, it takes 5 seconds for you to make a decision if you're going to do something or not. It takes 5 seconds for you to start an action, and on average, it's 5 minutes to get into the first stages of it. That's it. We just got to do it. So don't let the fear create the stress to hold you back. So fear on consequences, okay, are always worse than the consequences themselves. So what we fear, the thought, okay, the fear is always worse than the actual thought. Okay, so an example, your kids are taking your car out for the first time. You guys know I just think off the top of my head. They're taking your car out for the first time. Okay, so my daughter, who is now 19, so this was a few years ago that I had to deal with this, but my son, for some reason, I didn't have the fear. I felt like if he was put in a situation, he would be able to handle it. My daughter, a little bit more of the anxiety, who's in this group and is probably watching. So the first time that in my case, it was the first time my daughter was driving by herself in her new car up over the mountain in the wintertime, and no cell phone service for me, like this fear that I had of every single aspect of this. And in my mind, she's going to be in the ditch off the side of a cliff, stranded without water or food for days. Like, our minds go, wah! Okay. Now my husband, he doesn't react that way. He's like, she'll be fine. She'll make it. It's no worry. And I'm like, how do you not see the possibility of the things that can go wrong with this? And he's like, because I have faith. And I'm like, I have faith, but I have anxiety with this. So the drive over the mountain that she was going to is 2 hours. 2 hours, she didn't call me. Oh my gosh, did the anxiety come in? Oh, did everything, all more possibilities come in. And so I had to keep the faith that she had a reliable vehicle. People drive the mountain. It was daytime. Like I'm putting all the positives in. This will be good. This will be good. And guess what? She made it over the mountain. And then she tells me this story. Mom, you won't believe what happened to me. And she's almost crying. She swerved, almost hit a delinear post, went off the side of the road, came back on. She made it, but she had to pull over on the side of the road, pretty much have a panic attack, get back on the road because she had to be there. She had to keep going despite that she was physically, paralyzed for a moment of the anxiety that happened. But guess what? When we preset something in our mind, it tends to happen. So I had this anxiety, something was going to go wrong, even if it's something little, projected that to her. Something went wrong. It created something big in her. But guess what? She made it over the mountain. My husband's like, see, she made it. She made it just fine. And I'm like, she did. I created this anxiety and shared it to her. What if everything that we stress about came true? Where would your life be? Isn't that scary to think? Think about everything you stress about to the extremes that we express it, right? What if everything came true? Life would pretty much suck, right? Okay. But what if we projected out there more positive things because we wanted that to come true? And we relied on the faith and we relied on our support system to help keep us positive and in a mindset. And nothing happened. I stressed over nothing. It is okay. And it was an experience that she needed to do. It was her first time. And I can tell you, I was super stressed out. She knows I was stressed out. And I kept saying, coming up with all these alternative ways for her to get there. No, let it go. Do not take on the stress. That was not worth those hours for me to sit there checking my phone over and over again in stress. Do you imagine what my body went through for those hours? Let alone the things that stress us out that are weeks and months. We have to just let it go. If we cannot physically change it, quit stressing about it. Write down those stressors. Write down the steps that it's going to take to achieve it. Ask for help and work through the process to get it done. Conquer the fear that is holding you back from being your best you. Once you clear your plate of those stressors, and once you confront the people that might be stressing you out, once you confront the situation, the job sometimes, the relationship, the financial one, once you figure out what your stress is, you're going to realize those levels of anxiety start to come down. Once you ask for help and you start working through the processes, it starts to come down. And I can tell you, because my plate is clear of everything, my big stressors, the people in my life that stressed me out, and some of them are family members, are no longer in my life as of 3 years ago. I made that big of a change. I had to. I was putting myself out there for so many people. I was so physically sick, not only with my autonomic stuff, but additional of that because of stress, that I had to take over because my mindset was not who I am. I did not want to lose my family. I didn't want to lose the relationships that I had. And I had a close friend that was a real friend to me come in and say, Amy, you're not you. And just like when you're in a flight, I never understood this. I understand it, but I still struggle with it. When you go on a flight and the flight attendants give them the instructions, they always say, put your mask on first and then turn to your child and put on their mask. And I was like, heck no, I'm putting my child's mask on first. No. That is not how this works. You have to take, I'm gonna start yelling. This is how I start preaching. You have to take care of yourself first before you can help anybody else. You have to clear your plate, clear your stress, get over those fears. And like I said, sometimes you have to delete people out of your life, get the stress levels to where it's manageable of little things like, what am I gonna make for dinner? Get all of that off your plate and your life will change, and you will realize that you live life with purpose. And now you can help other people. It's touching, it's emotional. Stress is enabling. And if you are in these stages of stress that you don't want to go outside and you don't know how to reach out, then you reach out to me personally in a message and we will work through some of these things. But I'm going to tell you, my friend that was real to me years ago was one of my clients, and she had known me for many years, and she was like, Amy, you're not you. I was so stressed out. I was at my end. Okay. My business has always been successful. I was married to the man of my dreams, which I still am. My kids are successful and good. It was everything that I added onto my plate of Chamber of Commerce's and all these meetings and trying to balance everything. And I was sick and I was pushing and fighting my way, even though I was sick, to go to everything because I was afraid what people were going to think about me. It was my biggest stressor. When I finally wrote everything down, my biggest stress and fear was what people were going to think about me. Well, guess what I did? I quit caring. I started caring about myself. I started putting myself first, focusing a lot more on self-care, which we talk about a lot in here. And I felt selfish. I felt very stingy. I felt like it was wrong, but it's not. It's what you need. And if you listen to any self-help book, podcast, whatever, they always say, always, every single time, put yourself first. Clear your plate. And I can tell you the last 3 years of my life, I've been able to focus more on sharing my story and helping others because I have that confidence now. I just recently watched a podcast about writing a book, and I was like, oh my God, how many books can I write? Because how many chapters of my life have I felt like I've been at the bottom and worked my way up to the top? And every single time it goes back to writing it down in a notebook, writing out the steps and getting myself past the fear. Every time. It's the same process. Every single time. It's amazing how it works. And guess what, guys? It's free. And friendships are free. Yeah. Okay. Gets me going. Hey, I'm glad my cough medicine kicked in. See? Those little pearl things, they work. Okay, let's see what else is on here. Oh my gosh, I don't even know where I am on my notes. Okay, so examples of stress can be building a clientele. Okay, so I want to talk about, sometimes we have all these stresses and then it happens and then we're even more stressed. So what we wished for, what we wanted, what our intention was, we worked for it, we got it, sometimes creates more stress. Okay, so you need to change the mindset and remember that you created this. Okay, so let's talk about clients. You don't have a clientele, you're new. You finally build it, you get your specialty, you get your skills, you build up a clientele. And now you're stressed out of how to get all these clients in, how to please all of them. Oh my gosh, I'm not profitable. Now I have to raise my prices to all of them. And now you've created another stress, but you've created a stress because you've found your goal and you took it to fruition, and now you've created this other stress, right? So how do you react to that? What you need to react is reflect and be thankful for that and say, you know what, I'm thankful that I have this problem. And guess what you need to do? Plan it, schedule them out, maybe 2 months, 3 months, so that it's a little bit less stress. Maybe you need to, I know Becky 2 years ago wanted to add 15 clients to her books. She ended up with like 30. And then she was stressed out because she's like, what do I do? She raised her prices thinking that she'd get rid of some of the people. Nope, none of them left. In fact, only more people came. And anyways, so with that, the stress kept coming. And finally, you have to get to the point where you're like, oh my gosh, now to accommodate to all these people, instead of 3 days a week, I'm working 5 to 6 days a week. Yeah, I'm making great money, but my balance of myself, my family, and my career are out of whack. And now I have to make changes. So now I have to get rid of some clients. Okay, you created that stress though. Okay, think of the blessing though, that your prayer, your intention was answered, it came to fruition, and now it's your time to control that balance. Remember boundaries. Boundaries controls that, and we've already talked about that. On a side note, in the events section of the group, I went through on week 1, and in the comments, I posted the live that I did into the comments. So every week I'm going to post the link to the live in the comments of those, so you can go back and watch those on replay, or if you missed a week, you can go back and watch it and go back to those other topics, because 6 months from now, I can guarantee you, there's something you're gonna be like, you know what, I wish I can find that video. That's the easiest way that I know to do it in a group like this. Usually I do units, but in this case, I think it's gonna work best in the events section. Finances are another thing that can stress us out. But how many times do we say, oh my gosh, I cannot afford this? Like right now, I'm booking flights, rental cars, motels for March so I am going to leave Wyoming, drive to Montana, fly to Nevada, drive to Utah, drive back to Nevada, fly to North Carolina, drive to South Carolina, drive to Virginia, fly back to Montana, and drive back to Wyoming. There's a lot that goes into the planning of that, because I have nail classes tied into that. I have people picking me up. I have shuttles. I have rental cars. I have all of that on this plate, right? That can be a big stressor, because there's a timeline to it that I need. That's to go see my husband at his graduation. The blessing is I get to do that. Financially, I'm looking at the numbers. I haven't worked in 2 weeks. I don't get to work a lot this week. And so therefore, there's stress because of finances. Finances are actually one of our number one stresses. But guess what? I knew this was happening. We've been saving up for it. I already had my mindset of where the budget needs to go to that. I'm not over my budget at all, but it's still a stress there. But you know, it's a blessing. Do you know what I get to do? So the stress that we put on ourselves with finances, here's the thing. I can stress over all these finances and I haven't worked and put every excuse to it, but yet I will still spend $5 to go get a cup of coffee. Save the $5. Make yourself a nice cup of coffee if that's really what you want, and put that $5 into that budget where it needs to go. So many times we stress on these finances and we can look back and realize we did it to ourselves. And sometimes we didn't. Maybe you lost a job and the factory shut down and all of those things. Sometimes those stressors are out of our control. The blessing, you get to start fresh. You get to start new. I got a message this morning from somebody who wanted to stay in this group, and she's like, Amy, I cannot financially afford it. And I know it's only $40, but I just lost my job. She worked in a hotel. The hotel closed down. And she's like, I don't know what to do. And I was like, you get to rebrand. You get to reprice. You get to restructure. You get to figure out what you need to do. What's your specialty? She goes, I don't know. And I go, what do you mean you don't know your specialty? That's the first thing you need to figure out in the nail industry. What do you want to specialize in? And so I haven't received her messages back, but exactly that, working through the steps of something that happened to you that's creating stress that was not created by her, but she kind of knew it was happening. I was like, wait a minute, you knew for 3 months this was a possibility, this was going to happen, and you didn't start looking out for plan B. In a way, she created it herself because she didn't make a plan to get herself to the next level. Like I said, sometimes we get that intuition, that feeling of like there's going to be a change and we don't like it, and so let's not do anything at all. Or mentally we can come up with plan B. So if this does happen, this is what I'm going to do. Okay. What's crazy is so many times we look back and we realize that we already knew it. From relationships to finances to situations, in a way, we already knew that was going to happen. And it's not that we wished for it. We just had a feeling that that might happen. But where is your planning into all of this? Where's your focus? Where's the, okay, if this happens, this is what I'm going to do. That is how you start eliminating that stress. Usually stress definitely comes from your plate being full. We could have the same stress one day. Let me think of a scenario. I can't think of a scenario right now. But one day we could think of a stress and our plate is clear and something happens and we're like, you know what? That's fine. I'm going to deal with that. I'm going to get it done today. And the same thing can happen on a day that our plate is full. Okay, here, something came to mind. Okay, so let's say you have a sick child. Okay, so you take them to school. Guess what? You knew they were kind of sick. You could tell maybe they were pale when they woke up. I mean, maybe they threw up and they did whatever and you gave them ibuprofen. You still send them to school, which I think I'm totally against that. I think at that point in time, you need to keep them home. But for some reason you have this stress, maybe you don't have extra days that you can take off of work. And so you follow with this plan to send your child to school while they're sick. Maybe you didn't know they were sick and they got sick at school. So your plate is empty, okay? Your child is sick. The school calls you and says you need to come pick them up. Okay. So you make the arrangements with your clients or with your boss or whatever to go pick up your child. You go get them chicken noodle soup, you get them medicine, all that. You go home, you take care of them, okay? There's stress, but there's no guilt in that stress, right? Okay, take the same scenario. Your plate is full, you've overfilled it, and you get a call from the school to come pick up your child, and you're like, I can't. So you call your husband, you call your sister, you call your mom, and they can't do it either. And then you create this huge stress because the only difference was because you felt like your plate was full. But guess what your priority is? Your sick child. None of this other stuff matters. Put the priorities in. If you are sick, stay home. Take care of your family, then your career. Do not let your career set those boundaries. Take over the priorities for your family. Family first. Stress can also be a motivator. So we talked about motivation last week. Sometimes stress just makes us get things done, right? We put a deadline to it. I'm tired of feeling this way, and it can motivate us. Stress does not have to be negative. Stress can be that one thing that our body just gets that rage into it and say, you know what? I'm doing this today. And we put it as a priority and we get it done. Stress can be one of our greatest motivators. Stress can motivate us more than a friend. Like, isn't that crazy? Because it's a mindset. It takes over our body. It's a body set, not just a mindset. It takes over our body. And we're like, I have to do this. And today's the day. We will find a way to clear our plate to get it done if we really need to. Use the stress. Use that motivation to just get it done, because I'm going to tell you, you're going to conquer that fear that's holding that back, and you're going to get the relief that you get from that. And it's not always in one day. Sometimes it takes time to do that. So again, are you stressing over the things that we should? Should we be stressing on that? Ask for help. Okay, so stress can also become chronic, create lifelong issues. It really can, which is really sad. And it's a lot of times it's because people won't face that. Usually it's like a post-traumatic stress syndrome. It can be from being in the military, the things that you saw. But once again, the people that overcome the biggest chronic stresses end up having to go get help. And it's usually a professional help. Sometimes they find it in another person that's gone through the same thing. And you connect and you realize that you're not alone. Do you know 100% of people have stress every single day? 100%. That means you're not unique. And your stress is not unique. Somebody else has lived that stress. And guess what? They've survived it. Okay? But they survive it because they get help. They surround themselves with people who make them stronger. They surround themselves with people who could build them up. They surround themselves with people who believe in them. They surround themselves in groups like this that help us know that they got your back. That is how we need to conquer this. Get over the feeling. So my biggest stress in life has always been what other people are going to think. I don't care what other people think anymore. And you guys know that. I go live sometimes, no makeup, too much makeup, my wrinkles. People, they send me, I got one again today. Like, Amy, I know you're into makeup and you love all that kind of stuff, but I can see that you can start using some anti-aging. I don't care about these wrinkles under my eyes. Some days they're there, some days they're not. I quit caring because you know what? It's me. I cannot change it. I've used different serums. And usually what happens is they plump up your face and they turn it on fire. I have a reaction to it and I don't like it. And then I'm even more stressed, not only financially what I spent on it, but I'm also more stressed about what people are going to think because now I have puffy eyes. Okay. I don't care. I have gray hair. Okay. I color it. I do what I can to change it. I embrace it. I've earned it. Look at it as a blessing. Quit stressing over the things that don't matter, that you cannot change. If you can change it, then change it. If you cannot, then quit stressing about it. Take it off your plate. It's not your situation to deal with. I forget, it was Julia that had, I don't remember the saying. She shared it in the motivation post. Something about taking on others' shit, I think is what it was. And to not do that. So are you stressing on other people's stressors and you're taking that onto yourself? Get rid of it. Today is your fresh start. It's a Monday, whatever excuse you want to use. Today's your day to look at those stressors, write them down. If it's not your stress to deal with, mark it off. If it's your stress to deal with and you can do it now, put it on that plate and get it done. Ask for help, get past that. Because if you are stressed, you are projecting it with your words and your actions. You are projecting that to somebody else. And guess what you're doing? You're creating this entire ripple effect of negativity that you could have controlled from the beginning of how you handled it. So use it as a motivator. Okay, that's all I have to say about that. So if you guys want to stick with me, I'm going to answer some of the questions on here. And I want to, again, thank you guys so very much for being a part of this journey. Thank you for confidence comes from doing things over and over again. But confidence comes from other people believing in it as well. And you guys have built my confidence. I've done this. I've gone live now more than once a week now for over 3 years. Almost daily, actually, in different groups and whatnot. And my confidence to go live and just speak freely and not be so scripted and not edit anything is because of you. It's because of the feedback that you guys have given. Because we worry about what people think about us, right? I've never had anybody negative say anything. Yeah, they might say something about crow's feet or, oh, you know, you look like you were kind of pale today. But you know what? I was. That's the honest truth. They were telling me the truth. They weren't telling me anything that I didn't know. But that's not something for me to stress on. It was something for me to be blessed that they still watched the entire video. Okay. Oh my goodness. Deb says, I chose the monthly option for Shopify, which can be good. However, if you do it for the whole year, obviously you save money. So when you're more confident in having Shopify and you're more confident into, that website and how it's going to work, then obviously you're going to, pay for it for a year or 3 years. But once again, it's that planning in there. Right now, you're still scared of the failure. And so you're only allowing yourself 1 month at a time. Do you see that? And so when you put yourself all in and you're like, I'm committed this for a year, you're gonna realize that you're gonna change that plan to a year. So right now, you're letting fear only keep you to a month. Do you see that? Deb says, it's a little more that way, but I find it's better for me to track and I can cancel anytime if I don't want to stay with it. Yes, see, exactly. Delia says, when I get stressed, I get a bad migraine to the point that you get vertigo and the anxiety attack. Exactly, that fight or flight happens and everybody's body reacts differently. For mine, for some reason, because, I have a pacemaker, mine's the heart, my blood pressure, it triggers my POTS and I am passed out. I mean, my body cannot handle that kind of stress. It cannot. And it took me going through my worst moments for me to go and refocus and say, you know what? I'm not a good mom right now. I'm not a good wife. I am not a good business person. I'm not a good nail tech at this time because I wanted to hurry up and get them in and out because I had to reschedule so many people from one day. And you have to take control over that. If you know that you're getting migraines, every time you get the migraine, write down, what do you think the stressors were? Because sometimes what you think that it is, that's not it. But until you write it down and you start to see this system come in, you start to find out really quickly what that is and be honest with yourself, okay? So like I said, out of honesty, I found out that my biggest stressor was what people thought about me. And I was like, I don't always admit this. I was signed up. I had clients sign me up to do the Mrs. Wyoming pageant. I'm not a pageant girl, okay? But they paid money and I found out it was a lot of money. And I found out they could not get their money back. And I thought, you know what? I'm just going to go. Well, what happened is that I went, I didn't make top 10. I didn't even know what to expect. I didn't do any research. I did it just to please them, okay? And we had to drive like 7 hours to get to the location where the pageant was. I mean, there was a lot that went into this and it was very expensive. So I saw it financially, time off of work. I was not doing it for me. But guess what? I didn't make top 10. And I have this inner thing where I knew, looking at the people that made top 10, because I was judging them, I was better than that. And the majority of the thing of this particular pageant was your community service. And I thought, oh, no, I have them beat. Because look at all these things that I do from, oh my gosh, at the time, of course, the biggest ones were Mammals, Manis, and Massage, and, president of the Chamber of Commerce. I was on the, what is it called? The Redcoats, the Chamber Ambassadors. I was on the Wyoming Leadership Program. I mean, I was on all these things at that time. And I thought there is nobody that has their plate and their passion as full as mine, volunteering for their community as much as me. How come I did not make top 10 if that's what this is based off of? And I realized it's because I didn't give my all. I didn't do research. I didn't plan it out. I didn't know what I was getting into. So guess what? I paid for the next year and I did it and I asked for help. I had never been in an interview before. That was my first time being in an interview. I called big corporations in our area and said, I'm not actually going to interview for a job, but will you interview me so that I even know what to look for? I did work. It's for the whole year, got runner up. I'm going to be honest with you. I prayed, do not let me win this. I cannot travel and do what I need to do, even though I had a platform I wanted to preach on, which was about self-care. I did not want to win because I could not take on that responsibility, but I got runner up. And thank goodness I didn't ever have to go into the other position. I focused and did it for myself. When you do it for yourself, it's a big difference. So find out what those stressors are, what your fears are, and what the core of it really is, and deal with that. And for me, it was what I thought other people were thinking about me. Dawn says, I moved my salon to a new location with the impression that everyone was staying. 4 weeks in, I'm losing stylists. Now that's my financial responsibility. Yes. So you took a risk. You did a new location. Once again, sometimes we have to rely on other people, but did you set yourself up for success? I've done this. Okay. I don't remember what year it was. It's been probably 10 years ago. I moved into a much bigger building onto Main Street. I was already on Main Street. Because I started that business with me and one other tech, I knew where the profits were. What happened though is that quickly all these other techs were coming in, and I got myself into a building that when one tech went on a maternity leave, one tech moved to another town, one tech opened up her own, another tech went with her, I was back down to 3 techs. And I had to depend on my income for the overhead. I did not set myself up for success. I did with them, but not on my own. And you have to know that side of your business, that when you take that leap of faith to go bigger, you also have to take that leap of faith that this is something that you can do financially on your own, even if you have to go get another job, take on more clients, work more, whatever. Because our dream is to go big and then we just manage it, right? I mean, lifelong dream. We manage it, everybody's good and everybody's happy. That's not always the reality. And so therefore, make sure that your new location that you're in is something that you can do on your own, or that your timing in there is maybe 1 year, and that if it doesn't work out in that year, you're going to have to make another change. You're going to have another fear that you're going to have to find another building, you're going to have to make another change, and you continue to go through that process until you finally set those boundaries going, you know what? This is a building I can afford on my own. This is how many people I can put in, and I'm going to have to change my mindset about where I want to be and then go from there. And so, Dawn, that's hard. I did it. And so here's what I ended up doing. I had tanning. I had an esthetician at the time. I had sources of income. But one thing that I hadn't tapped into to bring in revenue was retail. And I loved crafting. I didn't have the money to buy a whole bunch of actual product retail, but I did have crafting stuff. So Shabby Chic Boutique was created at that time, and I brought in and filled up some of the empty spaces with crafting. Then it was like, wait a minute, I can bring in other crafters' items. I can get a commission off of their sales. It looks full, it brings more people in my door. And so I incorporated a retail into my business. People were coming in, and then the techs started coming back in, and then I was back up to 7 techs again, and another business. So my plate was extra full. In fact, I ended up getting into the building next to me and putting Shabby Chic Boutique into that building, and then hiring people to run that. And then I had the salon. So it ended up being this big blessing, but it was so stressful. And I had gotten way in over my head because I didn't plan on any of them leaving. So keep that in mind and figure out what your plan B is. Is retail something for you? What can you do? You guys, I mentioned my other sister, Nikki. My other sister, Tiffany, is in here. Hello, my sweet sister. I love you too. So 2 of my sisters are in here so far. Hello, Miss Kelly. Hello, Carrie. Robin, love the boundaries and what you have taught us about them. Yes. So I hope that as you guys hear this word of the week, that maybe you knew what it meant, but you weren't implementing it. I hope that you can go back and revisit some of these videos and go, those aha moments, I want that. And thank you for sharing that, Robin. Yeah, Gail, I was preaching it. I get heated. I warned you guys in the beginning. I cry, I yell, I do it all, right? Deb says, I did that to myself as well for a very long time. Still do sometimes, but nowhere near as much. Thank you for the reminder. Yeah, and then we need to reflect and realize, I got over that. And this is what I learned from that. And then reflect and enjoy, celebrate that. Hello, Brigida, how are you? Okay, I'm gonna go through. Deb, I love that. Yep, you got what you wished for. It overfills your plate. You wished for it, you got it. Now what are you gonna do with it? And so that stress definitely can take over. Delia says, I was stressed last year in January, and when I met you at Premier Philadelphia in September, I felt better. So you were stressed from January to September is how I first read that. But isn't it so true that when you meet somebody or you allow them into your brain, into your system to help change those nerve paths, those thought paths, how much somebody, just meeting them, can be life-changing. And so Delia, thank you so much for that. It's going to make me emotional. Oh my gosh. Okay. Some of these are just, I love the words of the week. Don't you guys love it? Does it keep you focused on something for that week? Tiffany says, stress is my #1 reason my Crohn's is active and I became very, yes, it is. And of course, you're my sister. I know that. Stress. Our body cannot handle it. We have to get it out. And so you have to deal with these things that stress you out. Hello, Barbara and Karen. Okay, so I'm scrolling through quickly. Like, I guess some of these are statements. Wait. I see my name. Amy Masters. I thought I made the move and changed it here. I'm 4 weeks in. So, Dawn, I really, send you all the good vibes and all of that. And once again, lean on our group for questions about business or put it in TikTok Worldwide. If it's nail related, I want you guys to put in TikTok Worldwide. Business related, probably TikTok Worldwide. Mindset and overcoming and that small group stuff to really be vulnerable and help each other out. I really want you to share it in here, and you can share it in TikTok Worldwide if you want. Deb says, you, my dear Amy, have built my confidence and believe in myself by your encouragement and positive reinforcement. Deb, it's because you allowed me. Do you guys realize that? We have to allow ourselves these privileges. You're gonna make me cry. Thank you so much. You allowed to listen to me and you allowed me to get into your mind. And that's why you cannot write this stuff out and have somebody read it like a text message. People will read a text message in their mindset. So let's say the simple thing of have a great day, okay? So you're negative, you wake up, you find out we have 8 inches of snow, it's still snowing, and somebody says, have a great day. I read it, well, I don't, but some people will read it as have a great day, okay? But really what you said was have a great day, right? And so you can't express through text and things and writing as much as you can face-to-face or like this live. Okay, so when I said that I was going to change your mindset and that I was getting you out of your mindset into mine, the only way to do that was for me to go live. The only way for me to do that was to put myself out there vulnerably and listen and absorb what you guys tell me, and it builds a confidence for both of us. And Deb, your post just now built my confidence and you reinforced my positive nature. Thank you for that. Once again, you have to give to receive. So I'm giving it. Look at all this stuff I'm receiving. It's powerful. Thank you guys so very much. Hello, Miss Brenda. You're touching live. Very touching live, Amy. You guys are getting me emotional. I'm making my family watch this replay tonight. It applies to all ages. Your message really resonates with me. Thank you. Because you allow it. That's what it comes down to. My daughter's on here, Caitlin Abbott. You guys know is my daughter. I love you too, baby girl. And she knows that I always share stories about her, and that's because she's my life. She's my focus. So, hello, Dana Lynn. I also shared a story about you. So if you didn't watch this along the way, it was about your strength. Hello, Sue. Hello, Miss Taylor. Taylor's my niece. I told you guys I'd put my family in here because this is so important to me about what I want to do with my vision this year. How can I not include my family? And so my family is a part of this journey, but it's because they've given me the confidence as well to do this. And they've been with me, just like my friends have, my closest friends, and I've had to disconnect from a lot of my family because I had to take care of myself first. And even though I wanted to be there for them as well, I wasn't able to. I was still trying to put the mask on myself to get me well before I can help somebody else. So sometimes you have to disconnect a little bit. But those family and those friends that truly care about you and understand that, they're always going to be there because they get it. They understand. Oh, okay, Miss Dawn. Yes, you did that to me at Nail Camp East last year. Had no idea who you were, and then you started to talk. So Nail Camp East, so you guys know that because of this journey, I've been asked for many years to be a keynote speaker, a motivational speaker. And this year I've been asked to do more. And wasn't good at it. And I told you guys a story about like coffee being spilled in my lap just before I went up, and being at the mayor's table, and their governor's wife was with me, and mayor's wife, and the anxiety that I get from it. But I keep doing it because I have words to say and people believe in me. And so at nail camp, I got to talk last year, the first time in the nail industry, and I loved it. And I did talk about fear versus fear, and I talked about warrior versus warrior. And oh gosh, Dawn, thank you so very much. Okay, so absolutely, I totally understand about stress. My EDS and fatigue are horrible because of the stress. Financial, it kills me. Thank you for your encouragement. Sue, you and I have talked many times, and absolutely, we already have these autonomic or illnesses that are chronic, even if it's, chronic fatigue from what stress can do. It makes it worse. It magnifies it. It's one of the reasons why I still have all this cred, and why I got the trifecta of the cred was because I allowed stress to also settle in on that. And I took on more in my brain. Okay, so you guys know my husband's at boot camp, or basic training, I found out is what it's really called. I'm not supposed to call it boot camp. And he was leaving. He's gone till June. And not that I can't take care of my house myself, but it was change that I couldn't control. What if this happened? What if this happened? What if this happened? Well, what if this happened? I was putting the what if so much into my brain because I have to deal with this all the time. Like every day we have stress. 100% of us have stress. I couldn't change any of that. And what was happening is I was projecting negatively that my husband almost didn't go. This was his life dream. No. What you need to do is step back and look at the blessing that this is having. And that I need to be my best to support him and not let him know that those stressors are stressing me out. We sat down one night and said, okay, so if the pellet stove quits working, what happens? I have a video of my husband teaching me step-by-step how to fix the auger on the pellet stove. Okay? No more stress. I have a video of how to fix it. I had to be honest about what the things were stressing me out. And they were fixable. And you know what? The auger will probably never go out. But I was stressing on it. But I have a cool video I get to look back and see my husband in teaching me how to do something. Get it out. Ask for help. Yes, don't put that stress on your plate. Get it out there. Get it out there. Hello, Charlene. I'm glad that you finally made it live as well. Karen says, thank you. Thank for a great master or mind master and kicking butt about stress. Yes. Remember last week when I talked about I was sick of being sick, and the S stood, I don't remember what the S stood for. Oh, self-care. The I was ignite your passion. The C was conquer the fear. And then the K was kick ass. And I'm like I said, I'm not much of a cusser, but it's fitting, right? And so kicking butt, kick it, yeah. Okay, let me go through. Yes, you can always watch these on replay as well. And so, because I know, so you guys know that my original plan was to keep these to an hour. I've noticed I never can. And it's because I'm answering your questions. Obviously, if I just talked about the business side of it and talked about the word of the week, I could keep it there. But that's not what Masters Mindset Mondays is about. It's the interaction. It's that tribe, that family together. And if I didn't stop and answer all of these questions, you guys would be shorted. And I never want to short you. I always want to give you as much value as I can. All right, but with that being said, I'm at the very end. Taylor, you are so strong. You are one of them that helped make me where I am today. And I thank you for that. And I'm so very proud of you. And I love my family, my friends. You guys know my friends. I also call you my soul sisters and my family. And I thank you guys very much for that. So have a fabulous week. Eat ice cream for breakfast. Remember Bubblegum Day. And have fun with your post. And have fun with your life. Quit being stressed. Remember, some of these things we stress on are not our problems. And the ones that are, you need to deal with it. And sometimes they're hard. they're really hard. Trust me, I've had to do that. And sometimes we realize that we put too much into it and we allowed the fear to make it worse than it ever was going to be. And remember, if everything that we stressed on came true, look where your life would be. Doesn't that instantly make you feel a little bit better? Yeah. You guys are so welcome. Thank you guys very much for joining me. I appreciate you. Again, thanks for being a part of this journey with me. And once again, this is our group. Everybody is, but now it's not to say that it won't still continue to grow. I had some messages this morning even. And so we'll continue to grow. If you know somebody who really needs this and you want to gift it to them, let me know and we'll work that out as well. And anyways, thank you guys so very much. I love you guys too.